Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall went to war last weekend, but the result had everyone in the boxing world talking for all the wrong reasons. Taylor retained his title, but there was uproar from Catterall's corner and his fans inside the arena after what they viewed as a robbery. Today, we are discussing news of an investigation into the result of the fight last weekend and what it means for the boxing world. Stay tuned! First up, let's have a look at the fight itself. Josh Taylor retained his title in last Saturday's title fight against challenger Jack Catterall, and it's safe to say that it was controversial to say the least. Taylor was taken the distance by Catterall, with commentators saying that the challenger put on a masterclass of a performance. The English fighter claimed after the bout that he was robbed, and it's hard to disagree with him after what was quite an appalling decision. Catterall even scored a knockdown in the 8th round, which some fans referenced when claiming he had done more than enough to easily secure the decision. But fans can also look to the start of the fight as evidence of Catterall's dominance, after the challenger started superbly. Within 20 seconds of the fight starting, Catterall had landed a solid left hand which sent Taylor backwards, also finishing the round strongly. Catterall frustrated the champ in the early rounds and smothered him several times, and by the 5th round, it was clear that the challenger felt very comfortable in there with the champion. There's a case to be made that the first 6 rounds could have been scored for Catterall before a strong 7th for Taylor. Round 8 came with a knockdown for Catterall, and by this point, he was well ahead. Most people were saying that the champ needed a knockout in the latter rounds, which did not come, but Catterall was deducted a point for constant holding. Criminally, the judges scored the fight 112-113, 114-111, and 113-112 in favor of Taylor. What did you make of the result? So, there's going to be an investigation? Yep, and rightly so. It's difficult to defend a decision such as this. It's often said that going to fight a champion in his home country requires a knockout to secure victory, but a performance such as Catterall's last weekend is usually enough too. He was so clearly ahead, and it is hard to look past claims from Catterall that his dreams had been stolen after such a hideous decision. But there is some solace for the English fighter, after the British Boxing Board of Control confirmed that they will be investigating the scoring of this contest and will advise accordingly. Hopefully this means there will be an instant rematch, or the result itself will be overturned. After the fight, Taylor had claimed he had won, but this was obviously just posturing, as there is no way he can believe he won that fight, and he will surely realize as much after he watches the fight back in full. He held onto his belts after a split decision, with one judge even scoring at 114-111 in his favor. Incredible. After reiterating his claim that he won the fight on Monday via an Instagram post, he challenged Catterall to a rematch, and hopefully the first decision will be overturned and they can do it all again. We are unsure if the result will be overturned, but surely any investigation will prove conclusively that there was an obvious error and a rematch will be ordered immediately. What are your thoughts? What else was said in the fallout? Let's discuss. And what some might claim to be Taylor trying to duck Catterall, the Scotsman said, "I'd be happy to fight Jack again, but it would have to be at welterweight." This statement has caused some to question the sincerity of Taylor's claims that he would, in fact, be happy to fight Catterall again. Why wouldn't he just fight him at super lightweight? If he truly believes he won, surely he would have no qualms at dancing again in the same weight class, wouldn't you say? Taylor, who appeared to have legitimate appreciation of Catterall's skills, continued by saying, "Many fans believe Jack deserved the decision, and that's fine. We both went in there and fought our guts out for 12 rounds, but the personal attacks on myself and especially my family are disgusting and uncalled for. Fighting as the undisputed champion on Scottish soil was a dream come true, but I'm only getting started. I'll be back and better than ever, this time ready to conquer the welterweight division." We could certainly get behind that statement. There's absolutely no excuse for that behavior, as it obviously wasn't Taylor who scored his own fight. Catterall, who was visibly less than impressed at how the fight was scored, later claimed he had given Taylor a boxing lesson before insinuating that it was a shameful night for the sport, which is hard to disagree with. And Catterall's trainer said of the Shorely fighter, he did the honorable thing of stepping aside to allow undisputed champion to be crowned for the good of boxing, to have the sport he loves rob him of his dream. News from the Klitschko brothers' defensive cave now. Stay tuned. As you will know, Russia has recently invaded Ukraine, and the assault on Kyiv is well underway. The Ukrainian capital boasts none other than world heavyweight champion Vitaly Klitschko as its mayor, having held the position since 2014, and the mayor has made a chilling admission in recent days. Having signed up to defend the city from the coming onslaught, Klitschko, who was known as Dr. Iron Fist during his fighting career, will be hoping that the Iron Curtain doesn't close around Kyiv anytime soon. His younger brother Vladimir is also stationed in Kyiv, helping with the war effort, as well as other prominent Ukrainian boxers, Vasyl Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk, former and current world champions respectively. Klitschko gave an update of the situation recently and said that he had announced to the city's people that nobody was allowed to leave their houses in order to root out what he believes are Russian agents on the streets. He also said, "We killed some people, I guess 6 people last last night. Klitschko and his brother are regarded as two of the finest heavyweight fighters this century, and Vitali himself retired in 2012, having won 45 out of 47 fights. He boasts a knockout record of 87%, which is one of the greatest ever in the heavyweight division. Vladimir, who's also on the front line, retired with a record of 64-5, once going an entire decade unbeaten. What do you make of the Klitschko brothers' defense of Kiev? Pretty brave, right? News from the Tyson Fury versus Dylan White press conference next. Stay tuned. Dylan White failed to show up at this week's press conference for his upcoming heavyweight title fight with the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. The British boxer, who currently holds a 28-2 record, was holidaying in Portugal when the fight was announced, but refused to return to stand face-to-face with Fury. He had demanded a private jet to ferry him from Portugal back to England, but Fury and the promotional team of Frank Ward and Bob Arum refused his request. Fury appeared on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour podcast this week and claimed that White should be kissing his feet due to the purse he'll be taking home after their fight, which is reported to be around £8 million, which Fury claims is 32 times higher than anything he has ever been paid previously in his career. Eddie Hearn was also on the podcast almost straight after Fury, and he appeared to have White's back. I mean, he is promoting him, so it would be odd if he didn't. Hearn claimed that with a purse of more than £40 million, White's request for a private jet should have easily been doable, as he shouldn't be expected to get on a Ryanair flight. I mean, what? Why not? Hearn went on to play the pandemic card by saying he would be risking his payday by getting on a flight, but we're of the opinion that he was being a prima donna, or as some other people have claimed, he could simply be scared of Tyson. What do you guys think of White's no-show? And finally, a potential super fight in the works. Boxing promoter Ben Shalom has claimed a British super fight could be in the works should Chris Eubank Jr. and Kell Brook be able to settle on a suitable weight. Brook recently beat fellow Brit Amir Khan in a long-awaited grudge match, but he is most accustomed to fighting at 147 pounds, whereas Eubank, son of former world champion Chris Sr., is more comfortable around 160 pounds. If they could settle somewhere around the super welterweight level of 154 pounds, this one could be one of the biggest British fights in recent memory. The pair enjoy a healthy rivalry following Brook stepping in to face Triple G in 2016 when Eubank Jr. couldn't agree to terms, so there would certainly be an added bit of spice to this one should the pair agree on a weight class. We think 154 is where it's at. What do you guys think? And give us your predictions of a winner. We're going with Eubank Jr. following Brooks' performance the last time he made a significant step up in weight class against Golovkin. As always, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to join us next time for some more fun revelations. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Bye, guys.